Okay, so today I think we're going to talk about reading and books. And actually I guess we're going to be talking about a topic that might seem a little bit condescending at first, which is basically how to read properly. But I'm guessing you're going to tell us that actually that's not what you mean when you talk about this.
But it is fair, because I believe a lot of people aren't reading as helpfully as they could be. People who followed my content will know that I wax lyrical about certain books, and then also the importance of reading and how you approach them. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is my usual pitch of this book, The Slight Edge. All right, now, one of the frustrating things about this book is it's not available on Audible or other good audiobook platforms, but there is a compact CD that I've found, so it's not impossible to do it this way, but this would be the book to start with. So if you're not sure that you're reading right, and if you haven't read this book, the first thing that I implore everybody to do is to read that book, because it's going to highlight where this is coming from. Because what people tend to do is they read a book, and let's assume they are reading. They read a book, and if it's a personal development book like The Slight Edge, there will be stuff in there which hits them hard, will be really powerful, will be really useful. And I have every faith that when they put that book down, they have intention to do something with it. However, life happens first and foremost, so that's a challenge. Then remembering what it is you read, that becomes more and more of a challenge, and we know that you can lose sight of that within a day or so. They've probably not made notes, they may not have highlighted. So I am going to assume that most people pick up a book and read it, and that's just not enough when it comes to personal development books. So what I wanted to do was suggest to people one or two ways they might like to approach reading. And one of the things I'd encourage those who have already read some books is to pick them up again and follow some of these practices that I'm going to talk about now. Why? It's what I do, and it works really, really well. I was blown away by how helpful this was for me. It may not work for everyone, so this is something to do. This is something to really try properly, though. So you know how much I don't like that word try, but this is okay. If you give it a go and it just isn't working for you, fair enough, but don't not do it. So what I would say, I've got a particular favourite book of mine called Drive. So I have a few, but I love Drive by Daniel Pink. It's a really, really cool book. So how I read Drive now is like this. I happen to use Audible. There are other platforms around, but I've got it on Audible. So what I do now is I have a copy of the book, I have a copy of the Audible, and I have my little yellow book. And what happens now, I will sit there with my headphones on, and I will play the Audible of the book at a speed that works for me. So for me, I'm quite lucky, I seem to be able to do this quite well at about 3 times speed. But at 3 times speed, I've got the book in front of me, so I am reading the words, or I'm looking at the words probably, that are being read to me by, in this case, Daniel Pink of Drive. But I've also got my little yellow folder, and inside here I break it up into different indexes for different books I've read. And this, I know it sounds patronising, and it really isn't meant to be this way, but every time I come up against a piece of gold in that book that I want to revisit, but I don't want to stop the reading, I pause the Audible, I mark my place in the book, I open the folder, I write down what page it is, and then I write down a little note as to why I found it useful. And I can tell you, the amount of times I've gone back into this now, and I've done it for around about 11 or 12 books so far, and realised that I wrote something down for page 88, and there's a little title, which I'm like, I have no idea why. I mean, that sounds interesting, but why? Then it takes me to page 88, I read that whole page, or 2, or however many I've told myself to read in the notebook, and I am blown away by what it was that hit me at that particular point. And I'm taken right back to that moment, and from that, I can specifically reference a couple of actions that I'm going to take away to work towards it. Now, that is how you read a personal development book. Or furthermore, how you make the most of a personal development book is to ensure that all the carrots of gold and all the nuggets that you get from it, you actually take on board and do something with. And I have found this an incredibly powerful way of doing it. So give it a go. Do it. Buy an Audible of the book, have the hard copy with you, buy a notebook. I managed to get through 4 of Daniel Pink's books in under 2 weeks with this method. It was life-changing information. I've passed that on to my clients in many different guises. It's something you must absolutely do, and I'd love to hear how you get on with it.